Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about the conversation um, every human has with God when they are still in their mother's womb. This is quite a deep um, kind of concept because um, we're in a state, when you're in the mother's womb, you're in a state where we are all in a state where we haven't seen the world yet. And but we are connected deeply with our mothers. So we do feel whatever she feels, whatever she's going through while we're in her stomach, because we are a part of her. We feel that mentally, we feel that spiritually. Whether we understand it or not is a different story. But according to the divine, what the divine mentions, that when the human is in the mother's womb, it basically it is connected directly with God. And the reason why this is because it hasn't been touched by the, I don't know, by the energies of the world and by what's in the world yet. It hasn't really seen the world. It hasn't really touched. So it's in a state of absolute purity. The spirit is in a state of absolute purity. In fact, it's so pure. It's so pure that it's able to remember its last 100 lifetimes, which means that every human has been taking birth and living a life, and taking birth and living a life of some kind, be that in lower life forms, in like dogs, cats, or animals, and or plants even, or as a human, or as humans, or in living in different countries, different families. So, and it and whilst it's in that state, it remembers all those lifetimes and what it was, um, because this is what the divine mentions, that it remembers all, and it's having a conversation with God. And the conversation that it's having is that in the mother's womb, on a spiritual level, it's quite hot. It's kind of burning. You're in a burning state, because there's a lot of heat in the mother's womb. So what the spirit is saying to God, and note here that in order to have this conversation and elevation that can connect you and make you and allow you to have conversations with God, you have to be in a pure. Your spirit has to be in a pure state, very extremely pure state. And then it's able to do this. It's in a pure state. It's elevated and has complete connection and conversations with God. Okay, so just remember this for a minute. So while it's in that state, it's having this conversation. It's saying, God, please get me out. Please get me out. It's very hot in here for me. I'm burning, and I need to get out. And God is saying, if I let you out, you will go into the world and you will forget about me. You will forget and break this conversation and this connection that we have. It will break. You'll basically turn your back and walk away from me. And God obviously doesn't want that. So he said, no, I won't forget you. Please get me out. Please get me out. So this conversation goes on until the time comes when the child takes birth. And when the child takes birth, it comes into the world and it starts to grow up slowly. It gets, year down the line, it's older, and then it starts seeing things around the world. It still has that connection with God. It's not able to speak. It's still in a pure state. That's why sometimes when you see it, it's kind of sleeping and it's smiling, or it's kind of looking at you. The child is looking at you in a way that as if it just knows everything about you, but it can't tell you anything. It's not able to communicate it. So I've seen this with children. They because they're in a pure state. And if you get into your meditation and also reach that kind of pure state, then you can communicate with them, and you can see telepathically what they're seeing and what they're talking about, what they're seeing through you, in fact, and what you can see through them. So it becomes like this. Um, so they're at this pure state at this time, and they are connecting with God. And slowly, as they grow older and older and older, they get into the world, and slowly, you start learning everything about the world, and start, being educated, and you start forgetting about this conversation, and start kind of getting into the world and experiencing the world and finding how wonderful, incredible the world is. Um, and this is what every human goes through. Um, but its journey, and the reason why it's been sent, is to reconnect with God through some form of worship and some form of prayer or meditation or service to humanity. By oh, sorry, one thing I said. So in this conversation, when he's still in the mother's womb, the conversation he's having with God. So let's go back there for a second. God says, "Look, I'll let you out, but I need you to do couple of things for me." And he says, "What?" So God says, "I want you to meditate on me, connect with me every day. I want you to serve humanity in some way. So people who are less fortunate than you, need to serve them. You need to help them. They need your help. And thirdly, I need you to give 1/10 of your earnings to me. Give 1/10 of your earnings so that your bounties are always full. So you'd give me 1/10 of your earnings, and I will give you 4 times back. I'll give you 4 times back." So this is the conversation he's having with God, and he says, "Yeah, okay, I agree. I will do this." And then he's released and he has birth. So, but as I said, now going back to where I was talking about that, you've gone into the world, you've grown up, and you've totally forgotten about this conversation, and what the promise was that every human makes to God. So, the whole purpose of getting back into spirituality and connecting with God is to fulfill this promise that you gave. We all gave this promise, every human, to worship, connect,